have you noticed you never see these Asian countries do the things that Africa is very easily manipulatable. You know, like someone will come and tell you they know some of the basic problems that you have. Then they tell you, if you go fight this other side, this is what we're going to give you. When you look at the Asian countries, because the Asian countries were also colonized at some point, but you never see them having that aggression against each other, even in situations where there are, you know, like border issues or any other kinds of conflicts. You never see them. They've figured out how to sort things internally. They've been able to grow economically. Part of the reason why we have to understand as Africans that there is vested interest from the outside, and the outside I mean from Europe, China, and all these major powers. The history of conflicts in Africa, there is no country that has there's no country that has benefited from starting a conflict with another country. You know, which is why, you know, like, maybe you can give us an example.
Why do countries fight wars? Yeah? Countries fight wars but over resources. So whoever wins resources.
I'm a bit confused. Who's the enemy of whose enemy?
So RSF are not Kenya's friends. South Sudan are not our friends, right? No, I mean, Sudan have never been our friends because they were a traditional adversary because we supported South Sudan in the peace process.
No, but we've never been adversaries. I disagree with you. We've never been adversaries with Sudan.
Let me explain. So there was Sudan, there was the and I'm saying this as an African of African descent. The perception was that South Sudanese, within sort of the regional bloc, South Sudan, I guess North Sudanese or Sudanese, the Janjaweed and the Khartoum government at the time were against black animists, Christians, right? So Kenya is a Christian nation. So
no, Kenya is not a Christian nation.
Well,
it's a non-secular.
Let me correct myself. Ali, allow me to correct myself.
Yeah, it's a non-secular.
So I misspoke. Kenya is a secular nation, but has a Christian majority. I obviously misspoke there. Yeah. So there's that perception. These are not factual. It's just there is a perception from the Christian majority that, you know, Sudan versus South Sudan, South Sudanese are the ones who are our friends. So the RSF and that group would have been our traditional enemies.
So
both of them, both sides, because they were killing Christians.
Dr. Angusi,
yes.
I understand the perception part, but I'm talking about, as far as enmity is concerned, the diplomacy side or the military side. When both sides, the north side of Sudan and South Sudan, when they were coming to Kenya for resolution, Kenya maintained good relations with both sides. Now I'm talking about
maintaining good relations, not going to war versus having perceptions that this is an Arab versus African conflict. That's a whole different, arena. So Ali, allow me not to get kind of lost in that rabbit hole, because all we're saying is that there are these perceptions that are out there, right? But the fact is, Sudan, not South Sudan, but Sudan has not been Kenya's traditional ally. And then within Sudan, you have these two actors, RSF and the Sudanese army. Neither one of the two have also been our allies. So Kenya has come and they've been told by the UAE that amongst these two, you should support these ones because these are our friends, or we are supporting this side. And Kenya, because of the economic imperative, because they have this economic agreements with the UAE, have agreed. So whose decision is that? That's it squarely remains the decision of the president to make, right?
But now
you either make it for the economic benefit of the country or not.
But Dr. Angusi, that is UAE's decision. That's a decision to the benefit of the UAE because, okay.
No, but it's also to the benefit of Kenya because we have an economic benefit, right? 44.
If we
our sixth largest trading partner, 450 billion in 2024 by volume. That's not money to ignore.
In the history of conflicts in Africa, there is no country that has there's no country that has benefited from starting a conflict with another country, which is why, like, maybe you can give us an example.
Why do countries fight wars? Yeah? Countries fight wars over resources. So whoever wins resources. And
right? that's why I'm asking you. That's why I'm asking you, which country has benefited economically in Africa over creating a war with another country? The beneficiaries are always outsiders. The beneficiaries are majority of the time they're always outsiders.
Ali, we agree. But what needs to change, I said this as a preface. I also said this last week.
Yeah.
And it's a very uncomfortable place for a country which has traditionally been like subservient to the West, to the East, kind of being told what to do. We are now a free people. We are also an economic power, and we need to start acting like it. And that means when it comes to making decisions that economically benefit us, we should, right? Wars are not fought because you're trying to bankrupt yourself. Wars are fought because of economic and regional interests, right? So I think there's a lot to be said on that topic. But the point the overall point I'm making is that we need to start making decisions as a country that benefit us economically, because ultimately we have a responsibility to provide for our people.
But
that's never an easy decision to make.
But also to add on to that, as we wrap, all people need to just learn, study, and again, I know the problem sometimes is because of economic hardships, because most guys are not really going to anything that is concerning outside, even sometimes outside of their county. They don't care. Not that they don't care, or there's not that much information, outside the county, maybe the country. But I think the media they're doing a very good job, but what they can do is increase the reach, increase the information, just educate people. Because once the people become, I think personally that sometimes the way the political class in Kenya deals with the citizenry, and with them not knowing, they love it because they get to push and pursue their own agenda on the backs of the citizenry.
Yes, and to wrap this topic, I'll say we need to take the Asian example. Have you noticed you never see these Asian countries do the things that Africa is very easily manipulatable? Like someone will come and tell you they know some of the basic problems that you have. Then they tell you, if you go fight this other side, this is what we're going to give you. When you look at the Asian countries, because the Asian countries were also colonized at some point, but you never see them having that aggression against each other, even in situations where there are, like border issues or any other kinds of conflicts. You never see them. They've figured out how to sort things internally. They've been able to grow economically. Part of the reason why we have to understand as Africans that there is vested interest from the outside, and the outside I mean from Europe, China, and all these major powers, that we stay divided. When we stay divided, they benefit economically, because part of the missed opportunity that I felt that this situation created was most of the average people do not know, like what the functions of the AU are, or maybe even outside the functions, how directly it might affect them. When you look at, for example, businesses like Kenya Commercial Bank, I want to say Equity Bank, spread wings to other East African countries and to places beyond East Africa. These things did not happen by happenstance. And that's how, Africa can grow. When you have businesses in Kenya right now, especially like in the banking sector, you have banks from South Africa that are operating in Kenya. That did not happen by happenstance. So there's something called Agenda 2063, where even LAPSET is included. You know, the way you have a highway here, you can just decide to wake up tomorrow, drive to California, and within 2-3 days by road, you're in California. You cannot do that on the African continent. There's a project that is currently underway, and LAPSET is part of it, a highway across the continent, which is going to make things easier. There's something called the African, these acronyms are sometimes hard to remember, but there's one where Africa will become an open airspace, meaning KQ doesn't have to either be landing or leaving from Nairobi. You can get a KQ from Abuja, and it goes directly to Abidjan. You can get just like the way it's in Europe or the way it's in America. That's how our economies are gonna grow. Like if we start trading with each other.